Hey credit warriors, welcome to the show, and in this video I want to share with you some of the best credit cards to be using right now in Q1 of 2024. And this is all coming from an earning points and saving money point of view. And if you like the sound of that, do subscribe to the channel for more credit card and financial tips every couple of days. So first up, let's look at the rotating category cards. These are credit cards that earn 5% or 5 points per dollar back, usually on up to $1,500 worth of spending each quarter in rotating categories. First up, we have the Discover It Cashback card, which, if you're someone who's into cashback, is the best card to be using for dining and drugstore purchases right now. It earns 5% back for the whole quarter on those two categories, and that's on $1,500 worth of spending for the quarter. If you're someone who prefers points, you may prefer to use the Amex Gold for 4 points per dollar at restaurants or the City Premier for 3 points per dollar. Even if you have the Discover It as well, you'd probably get more value just sticking with your points. These transferable points are generally valued at around 2 cents per point if you know how to use them effectively. So you'd be getting 8 cents per dollar on the Amex Gold and 6 cents per dollar spent at restaurants on the City Premier. That is unless you are in your first year of card membership on the Discover It Cashback card. Because remember, in the first year, they do a cashback match. It's their kind of welcome bonus, and cashback matching 5% on those categories turns into 10%, beating those 2 points cards in value. All right, let's move on to another rotating category card, the Chase Freedom Flex, and this includes the older Chase Freedom as well that many people are grandfathered into. This is currently going to be the best card for grocery stores and a couple of other categories. So the full list of Q1 categories for the Freedom Flex and the older Freedom cards are grocery, excluding Walmart and Target, gyms, and spa services. If you value Chase points at 2 cents per point, then that's 10% back. If you just want to do a more basic redemption with the card like travel portal redemptions, and you have the Sapphire Preferred or the Ink Preferred that you can transfer the points over to, then you'd be getting 1.25 cents per point in value, so that's 6.25% back on your spending. Or if you have the Sapphire Reserve and transfer those points over there, they're now worth 1.5 cents per point through the travel portal, so that's a 7.5% return on your grocery spending. And I emphasize grocery just because for me it's so easy to max out that category. With the other two, it's more like, your mileage may vary. Some people may be very easy, some people maybe not. That is literally my top 2 spending categories covered, okay? Dining and grocery. Let's now move on to some Amex cards that have credits that have just reset at the beginning of the year, and thus it makes them the best cards to use for certain things since you are getting a refund until you hit that credit amount. And as always, many of these cards are featured in our credit card guide on my website. That's going to be the top link in the description box below. If you want to apply for any of the cards mentioned or any others you see in the guide, do consider using our links. It's a great way to support our show at no extra cost to you. Just make sure you're getting a good bonus offer. So on the American Express Platinum card, we have the Saks credit that just reset. Basically, Amex refunds you $50 every 6 months for your spending at Saks. Now, this may be super useful for some people and not so useful to others. I often just buy a pair of socks from Saks to use the credit. I've got like a load of pairs of like $50 to $65 socks. They are good though. They don't get holes very easily. But my wife, she buys a lot of her makeup from Saks, and that's stuff that she was gonna buy anyway, so she gets refunded on genuine spending, not spending she did only because she had the card. So anyway, if you're gonna buy something online from a department store, I would suggest check if Saks has it first so you can get that $50 refund. Secondly, the hotel credit on the Amex Platinum just reset as well. Amex gives you a $200 refund on spending through their Fine Hotels and Resorts collection, or their slightly more mid-range hotel collection. Just remember, with the hotel collection, you have to actually stay 2 nights to get the refund and any of the other benefits that are offered versus just 1 night with the Fine Hotels and Resorts collection, or FHR. Now, this is a super useful benefit if you want early check-in, late checkout, free breakfast, a room upgrade, etc. I've used it in Vegas, in Washington, D.C., and most recently I used it at the Fairmont Orchid in Hawaii, where we attended a wedding, and on the last day the bride found us lounging around at the pool at 11:30 a.m. and reminded us that we all had to check out at noon, but not us. We we had a 4 p.m. late checkout because I booked through Fine Hotels and Resorts Collection. I didn't tell her. So if you're thinking about staying in a high-end hotel in 2024, you now have that $200 credit if you want to book through FHR. All right, the final credit that just reset on the Amex Platinum is the $200 airline credit. Now, don't get too excited. You can't get a free flight, but this does cover you for things like checked bag fees, lounge access fees. I use it for both of those with Delta on our recent flight to Hawaii. You can select your airline from Amex's list, and if you haven't used the credit yet, you can normally phone up and change your airline. I did this last year, switching from AA to Delta mid-year, which you're not really supposed to be able to do, but if you haven't spent any of the credit, they normally will let you. Remember, you can't get a refund if you've already spent, like you spend $50 on AA and then you want to switch to Delta. I don't think they're going to do that for you. All right, now let's look at another Amex card with a load of credits that just reset. But first, if you're into free stuff, don't forget that you can actually get 30 free stocks. Yeah, you heard that right. 30 free stocks when you open a brokerage account and deposit $500 with Webull. And those stocks are fractional shares worth between $3,000 and $3,000. So basically you have 30 chances of getting a share with a high value. And that is for just moving $500 over there that you may have sitting in another investing account anyway. You're not giving them any money, you're just moving your own money to a different account. If you guys are interested in that, do check it out in the description box below. It will be the second link down there. All right, so the Amex Business Platinum has several credits as well. It also has the $200 airline credit that just reset. We don't really need to talk more about that. Then it has the Dell credit. This refunds you $200 every 6 months, so $400 a year for purchases at Dell.com. I will use this credit probably right after I've shot this video actually to buy a new hard drive for archiving my videos and my footage on. Then there's also the Indeed credit of $90 per quarter. That just reset, if that is useful to you. Personally, I don't find this card and most of its credits very useful, so I'm gonna cancel it when the annual fee comes due in a couple of months, but after I've used my Dell credit. All right, now I want to give you a bonus on another Amex card that is ending soon, and that is the 170,000 point offer on the Amex Hilton Honors Surpass card for spending $3,000 in 6 months. Now, this is a card that I really swear by it. It gives you Hilton Gold status, good point earning, a load of other stuff, and it's listed in my best credit cards to use in Q1 of 2024 because if you spend $15,000 on the card in 1 year, you get a Hilton free night, which is usable at any Hilton property, even the really high-end ones, and I regularly get $700 or more in value from these Hilton free nights. Now, I will use this card to pay my taxes in April, so technically that's Q2 actually, but we could pay them earlier, all right, in late March, so either way. The 170,000 Hilton points bonus ends on January 17th, so in like 2 weeks. If you want to learn more about this card, you can check it out in our credit card guide listed down below. And if you do want to apply, you can click through from there to apply. The link we have is for the 170,000 point bonus. And lastly, if you want to know what cards I will be using this quarter in my major spending categories, it will be as follows. The Chase Freedom ×2 for 5 points per dollar back on grocery. And yeah, you can have more than one Chase Freedom. There's no rule against that. So I have a limit of $3,000 in spending that I can earn 5 points per dollar back on in my grocery spending. The Amex Gold for restaurants, that's 4 points back per dollar. Okay, I don't actually have the Discover It card, and I prefer points anyway. The Amex Platinum for Saks, for FHR hotels, and for phone bills because of the phone insurance that Amex gives you. The Business Platinum for the Dell credit, and then I'm going to cancel it. I'm still using the Wyndham Rewards Earn a Business card for gas because I only stop using that when there is a quarterly category for gas, and this quarter, none of those quarterly category cards have gas on them, so Wyndham Rewards Earn a Business. And then my next probably biggest category of spending is actually Amazon. So I'll be using the Amazon Prime for 5% back. And then everything else is kind of small categories. I just sort of use whatever. If it's business spending, I use some of my business cards. All right, guys, that is the video for today. Don't forget to get your 30 free stocks from Webull in the links below. And also check out many of the cards we talked about, including the Hilton Surpass with the 170,000 point bonus in my credit card guide link below as well. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. We'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.